I swear, I didn't do it. You have to believe me. I didn't kill her.
The room smelled like metal and cold air. I sat alone at the table, my hands folded, my knees shaking under it. The light above me burned my eyes. I blinked, but it didn't help. I felt small in that chair, like the room was leaning in, waiting for me to break. "Just calm down," Lena said, sitting across from me. Her voice was soft, but she wouldn't look at my face. "You're shaking." "I didn't do this," I whispered. "You know I didn't." She sighed, slow and tired. "I know. But this isn't about truth anymore. It's about getting out." Mark leaned against the wall, arms crossed, calm as always. "Listen to her. This is how these things work." I turned toward him. "How it works?" He shrugged. "You confess. You take the deal. You go home sooner." The door opened, and my public defender stepped in. His suit was wrinkled, his tie loose. He looked more scared than I felt. He sat beside me and placed a thin folder on the table. "We don't have much time," he said. "They're waiting." "Waiting for what?" I asked. He didn't answer right away. He opened the folder, then closed it again. "For your confession." My chest tightened. "You're my lawyer." "Yes," he said quickly. "And I'm telling you the best option." Lena leaned forward. "Please," she said. "I can't watch you rot in a cell." "I won't," I said. "Because I didn't do anything." Mark laughed once, short and sharp. "You're still thinking like a normal guy. This isn't normal life anymore." I looked at Lena again. "Say it. Tell me you think I did this." She hesitated. That pause cut deeper than any accusation. "It doesn't matter what I think," she said. "It matters what they think." My lawyer cleared his throat. "They have evidence." "What evidence?" I asked. "Enough," he said. "Not enough to prove it beyond doubt, but enough to bury you if you fight." Mark stepped closer. "If you confess, this ends today." "Ends how?" I asked. "You get a reduced sentence," my lawyer said. "Maybe probation. Maybe a few years." "A few years?" My voice cracked. "For something I didn't do?" Lena reached for my hand. I let her hold it. I needed that warmth. "I'll wait for you," she said. "I promise." I searched her face for something solid. "You swear?" "Yes," she said, too fast. "I swear." Mark nodded. "I'll take care of things while you're gone." "Your business." "Your bills." I swallowed. "You'd do that?" "Of course," he said. "That's what partners are for." The lawyer slid a paper toward me. "You just need to sign. Then we go before the judge." I stared at the paper. My name was already typed at the bottom. "I'm scared," I said. "That's normal," Lena said. "But this is the only way out." I looked at each of them. "You're all telling me to lie." "We're telling you to survive," Mark said. The lawyer leaned closer. "If you don't confess, they'll make an example out of you." My heart pounded so loud I thought they could hear it. "What if I fight?" He shook his head. Then you lose everything. Lena squeezed my hand harder. Please. Do this for us. For us, I repeated. The door opened again. A guard looked in. Time. My legs felt weak as they led me into the courtroom. Lena sat behind me. Mark didn't sit. He watched from the back, unreadable. The judge looked down at me. How do you plead? My mouth went dry. I turned slightly, just enough to see Lena. She nodded. I saw tears in her eyes. I plead guilty, I said. The words felt heavy, like they weren't mine. The judge nodded once. The gavel came down. The sound echoed through my chest. Sentence will be carried out immediately. Lena sobbed behind me. I tried to turn, but the guards grabbed my arms. I love you, she cried. I love you too, I said, my voice breaking. Mark met my eyes for a moment. He smiled. Not warm. Not kind. Just relieved. As they led me away, it finally hit me. My confession saved everyone. Everyone except me. Prison didn't kill me fast. It took its time. New fish, move, a guard barked on my first night. I'm moving, I said, stumbling forward. Keep your eyes down, another inmate muttered as I passed. I learned quickly. I learned silence. I learned how to shrink. At night, the walls talked back to me. Not with words, but with echoes. Every sound bounced. Every breath felt too loud. I lay on the thin mattress and stared at the ceiling. I plead guilty. My own voice haunted me. Shut up, I whispered to the dark. The man in the next bunk laughed. Talking to ghosts already? I'm fine, I said. Yeah, he replied. We all are. Days blurred together. Count. Eat. Lockdown. Repeat. No one said my name anymore. I became a number. A body. A mistake. One night, a guy I barely knew leaned toward me during dinner. You're the confession guy, right? I froze. What? The one who folded. Everyone heard. I didn't fold, I said. I trusted the wrong people. He smirked. Same thing. I stopped eating after that. Every night, I replayed it. The room. The light. Lena's voice. Mark's calm eyes. You'll be fine. You'll get out soon. You're doing the right thing. I whispered to myself, I didn't do it. The walls didn't care. Weeks turned into months. Months into years. Hope thinned out like paper worn too much. Letters stopped coming. Lena's handwriting faded, then disappeared. Mark never wrote once. One afternoon, a guard stopped at my cell. You got a visitor. My heart jumped. Who? He shrugged. Some lawyer. I stood too fast. What lawyer? Didn't say. The visit never happened. Later, another guard told me it was a mistake. Wrong file. That night, I laughed until my chest hurt. You okay? My bunkmate asked. I missed my chance, I said. He snorted. You never had one. The violent incident happened on a Tuesday. It always does. I was in line when someone shoved me. Watch it, I said. He turned. Or what? I didn't answer fast enough. The punch came. Then another. Someone yelled. Someone fell. I felt pain, sharp and bright, then nothing made sense. I heard shouting. I tasted blood. Then everything went dark. I thought death would be quiet. It wasn't. It was heavy, pressing, endless. I felt like I was sinking without water. I wanted to scream, but I had no mouth. Then air slammed into my lungs. I gasped and sat up. My room. My old room. I stared at the walls. The posters. The desk. My hands. Clean. No scars. No prison ink. This isn't real, I said. My phone buzzed on the nightstand. I grabbed it. The date hit me like a fist. Years earlier. The morning before everything fell apart. No, I whispered. No way. I stumbled out of bed and ran to the mirror. Same face. Younger. Eyes not dead yet. I laughed. Then I cried. Then I laughed again. You're insane, I told myself. You finally broke. I walked into the kitchen. The coffee machine gurgled. The same sound. The same smell. My chest tightened. I know this. My phone rang. Lena's name flashed on the screen. I froze. Don't answer, I said out loud. It rang again. Answer, I whispered back. I picked up. Hey. You sound weird, she said. Did you sleep? Yeah. Good, she replied. Mark's coming over. We need to talk. My stomach dropped. About what? She paused. The business. I hung up without saying goodbye. Memories slammed into me. The missing files. The deal. The accusation. The room. I'm not crazy, I said. I remember everything. Fear tried to take over. I forced it down. Not this time, I said. I sat on the edge of my bed and pressed my hands together. They shook. I won't confess, I said slowly. No matter what. The words felt solid. Real. I saw flashes of prison. The guards. The walls. The silence. I won't beg, I said. I won't trust blindly. A knock hit the door. Open up, Mark called. We're running late. I stood. My legs were steady. I opened the door and looked at him. Same smile. Same calm face. Morning, he said. You ready? I studied him. Every detail. Every lie. Yes, I said. Inside, something cold settled into place. This life wasn't about anger. It was about precision. And I already knew how it ended. Not again. I already knew how this week would go. Sit down, Mark said, pointing at the chair across from him. We need to talk numbers. I Saturday, okay. Lena stayed by the window, arms folded. She didn't look at me. She never did anymore. Mark tapped the table. This deal is big. Bigger than the last one. Bigger usually means riskier, I said. He smiled. Risk is how you grow. I nodded. If you say so. Lena turned. You always hesitate. That's your problem. I looked at her. Since when is caution a problem? She sighed. Since it keeps us stuck. Mark leaned forward. I already moved some money to make it happen. I paused. Without telling me? It was time-sensitive, he said. You trust me, right? I forced a smile. Of course. Inside, I noted everything. The way he avoided my eyes. The way Lena pressed her lips together. That night, I turned on the recorder in my phone and slipped it into my pocket. Mark's voice came through clear. He won't notice. Lena laughed softly. He never does. My hand tightened around the phone. The next day, files disappeared from my laptop. Did you move the contract? I asked Lena. She shrugged. No. I checked the server logs. Someone had accessed them at 3 in the morning. Mark? I asked later. He didn't even blink. Wasn't me. Okay, I said. He smiled. See? Easy. I stopped arguing after that. Why are you so quiet lately? Lena asked one evening. I'm listening, I said. She frowned. To what? To you. She looked away. Don't get dramatic. I watched her pack a bag the next morning. Where are you going? I asked. Staying with a friend, she said. Things are stressful. Because of me? I asked. She hesitated. Because of everything. Mark called an hour later. We need to sign tonight. Tonight? I repeated. Yes, he said. No delays. Send me the documents, I said. They're already printed, he replied. Trust me. I almost laughed. That evening, they sat across from me again. Same table. Same tension. Just sign, Lena said. Please. I looked at the papers. Pages were missing. Where's the appendix? I asked. Mark waved it off. Not important. It's always important, I said. He sighed. You're overthinking. I signed anyway. Inside, I was counting. Later, I overheard Mark on the phone. He signed, he said. Yeah. He's still clueless. I stepped back quietly. That night, Lena came to bed late. You okay? I asked. She lay down without facing me. I'm tired. Of me? I asked. She didn't answer. I stared at the ceiling, calm and cold. The next morning, the police called. Sir, we need you to come in, the voice said. Just to answer some questions. About what? I asked. Financial discrepancies. I smiled. Of course. Mark drove me there. Don't worry, he said. This will blow over. I know, I replied. Lena texted me while I waited. Do what they say. Please. I typed back nothing. In the interrogation room, the light flicked on. Same chair. Same table. Different me. They hadn't won yet. Not this time. The chair felt the same. Metal legs. Cold seat. Bolted to the floor. The light above me buzzed once, then stayed on, burning my eyes. I didn't blink. I remembered this room too well. Let's not waste time, the man across from me said. You know why you're here? I looked at him. No, I don't. He smiled like I'd made a joke. Detective Harris. Financial Crimes Unit. Nice to meet you, I said. He leaned back. No, it's not. The door opened. Lena walked in, eyes already red. Why is she here? I asked. She asked to be, Harris said. She's worried. Lena sat beside me. Please, she whispered. Just cooperate. I folded my hands. I am. Mark came in last. He stood near the wall, arms crossed, staring at the floor. Harris tapped the table. You want to tell me how money went missing from your company? I'd love to, I said. With a lawyer present. The room went quiet. Lena turned to me. Don't start this. Start what? I asked. Mark finally looked up. You're making this harder than it needs to be. Harris laughed. You hear that? Even your partner agrees. I didn't ask for opinions, I said. I asked for a lawyer. Harris leaned forward. You don't need one if you cooperate. I do if you want me to talk, I replied. Lena grabbed my arm. Why are you acting like this? Because I remember, I said. Remember what? She snapped. I met her eyes. Everything. Mark cleared his throat. You're tired. You're confused. I'm calm, I said. That's new, isn't it? Harris slammed his hand on the table. Enough. We have records. Transfers. Signatures. Then charge me, I said. He narrowed his eyes. You think you're smart? I think I'm quiet, I replied. Lena's voice shook. Just confess. Please. This ends if you do. There it is, I said softly. Mark sighed. We're trying to help you. You said that last time, I replied. Harris frowned. Last time? I smiled. Nothing. He leaned closer. Listen to me. People like you don't win against the system. I nodded. That's what you said? Lena started crying. I can't go through this again. Again? Harris asked. She froze. I looked at her. Careful. Mark stepped in. He's under stress. Harris stood. I don't care. I want a confession. I want a lawyer, I said. He laughed. You think some suit will save you? Yes, I said. I do. Lena stood up. You're being stubborn. I'm being careful, I replied. She leaned close. You're going to ruin everything. For who? I asked. Her mouth opened, then closed. Harris circled the table. You know what happens if you don't confess? You try to scare me, I said. He stopped behind me. You go to trial. You lose. I shrugged. Then we see. Mark finally spoke. Just say it. Say you did it. I turned to him. Look at me. He didn't. Say it again, I said. He swallowed. Confess. I smiled. What? He asked. You sound nervous, I said. Harris slammed the table again. This isn't a game. I know, I replied. That's why I'm done playing. Lena dropped back into her chair. Why are you doing this to us? To you? I echoed. Interesting choice of words. Harris pointed at me. You're guilty. Prove it, I said. He scoffed. We don't need proof if you confess. Then you're out of luck, I replied. The room felt tighter. Quieter. Mark wiped sweat from his forehead. Harris leaned in close. You think you've changed? Yes, I said. How? I learned to shut up, I replied. He stared at me. You're not as clever as you think. Maybe, I said. But I'm not scared anymore. Lena whispered, please. I looked at her. Stop. She flinched. Harris checked his watch. Last chance. I want a lawyer, I said again. He stepped back, annoyed. Fine. Waste your time. I leaned back in the chair and smiled wider. That's when I heard it. Footsteps. Slow. Confident. Coming down the hall. Harris turned toward the door. Mark's face went pale. Lena stopped breathing. And for the first time, I knew something was about to change. The door opened without a knock. A man stepped in like he owned the room. Mid-30s, clean suit, calm eyes. He didn't look at me first. He looked at the table, the recorder, the way Detective Harris was standing too close. Who are you? Harris snapped. The man held up a badge. Daniel Reed. Defense attorney. Lena stood up fast. We didn't call a lawyer. Daniel glanced at her once. Good thing you're not my client. Mark backed away from the wall. This is unnecessary. Daniel finally looked at me. You asked for counsel? Yes, I said. Good, he replied. Then nobody speaks except me. Harris laughed. You're late. Daniel checked his watch. I'm right on time. You started questioning him without counsel after he requested one. Harris crossed his arms. We were just talking. Daniel smiled slightly. Then you won't mind stopping. This is an active investigation, Harris said. And now it's an active liability, Daniel replied. The room shifted. I felt it. Like air moving before a storm. Lena whispered, this isn't helping. Daniel ignored her. Detective, where's the warrant? Harris frowned. For what? For detaining my client, Daniel said. For seizing his phone. For accessing his financials. Harris scoffed. We don't need. You do, Daniel interrupted. Unless you enjoy explaining misconduct to internal affairs. Mark cleared his throat. He's being dramatic. Daniel turned to him. And you are? His partner, Mark said. Not anymore, Daniel replied. Not in this room. Harris stepped closer. You can't control this. Daniel stepped closer too. I already am. I watched Harris's jaw tighten. Daniel pointed at the recorder. Turn that off. Harris hesitated. It's evidence. Daniel tilted his head. Recorded without consent. In this state. Try again. Harris reached over and shut it off. Lena's eyes widened. Daniel pulled out a folder. Now, let's talk about your case. There is no case, Harris said. Daniel opened the folder anyway. Funny, because I have your report. Missing signatures. Incorrect timestamps. Harris's face changed. Just a flicker. You questioned him for 40 minutes after he requested counsel, Daniel continued. That alone gets everything tossed. I felt something loosen in my chest. Daniel looked at me. Did you confess? No, I said. Did you admit guilt? No. Did you sign anything? No. Daniel nodded. Good. Lena stepped forward. He's lying. Daniel looked at her. You should stop talking. Harris snapped, this isn't over. Daniel met his eyes. It is today. Mark laughed nervously. You're acting like we're criminals. Daniel finally smiled at him. If you aren't, you'll be fine. Harris slammed his hand on the table. I can hold him. For what charge? Daniel asked calmly. Silence. Daniel leaned in. You needed his confession. Without it, you have nothing. Those words hit me harder than anything else. Nothing. Harris swallowed. We have leads. Daniel closed the folder. Then follow them. My client is leaving. Lena grabbed my arm. You can't just walk out. Daniel's voice dropped. Touch him again, and I file a complaint. She let go. I stood slowly. My legs didn't shake. Harris stared at me. This isn't over. Daniel placed a hand on my shoulder. For him, it is. As we walked to the door, Harris called out, You think you won? Daniel didn't turn around. No. I think you lost. The hallway felt brighter. Quieter. I finally exhaled. Thank you, I said. Daniel nodded. You did the hard part. I didn't say anything, I replied. Exactly, he said. We stepped outside. Fresh air hit my face like freedom. They were pushing hard, I said. They always do, Daniel replied. Because it works on scared people. I swallowed. I was scared before. And now? Now I'm careful. He smiled. That's better. I looked back once. Through the glass, I saw Mark pacing. Lena crying. Daniel followed my gaze. They're not your allies. I know, I said. He handed me a card. We're not done. I figured, I replied. As we walked away, relief hit me all at once. My knees almost buckled. They needed your confession, Daniel said quietly. Without it, they have nothing. For the first time in both lives, someone stood beside me without asking me to break myself to survive. And I knew everything had changed. Daniel closed the door behind us. Now we work. I sat across from him in his office. I already started. He raised an eyebrow. Tell me. I slid my phone across the table. Recordings. Texts. Everything I could collect without being obvious. He picked it up. You learned fast. I learned the hard way, I said. Daniel pressed play. Mark's voice filled the room. He won't notice. Daniel paused it. That's good. I let out a slow breath. There's more. I opened my laptop. Transfers. Dates. Accounts that don't belong to me. Daniel leaned closer. You tracked this yourself? Yes. He looked at me. You didn't tell me this part. I didn't trust anyone yet, I said. He nodded. Fair. 2 days later, Daniel walked me into the building again. Not the interrogation room. A smaller office. Cleaner. Quieter. A woman sat behind the desk. Young. Focused. I'm Maya, she said. Junior investigator. Daniel shook her hand. Thank you for meeting us. She looked at me. You're the accused? Was, I said. She tilted her head. I'm here to listen. I handed her the folder. Then listen carefully. She flipped through pages. These transfers don't line up. They weren't meant to, I said. Daniel added, notice the timestamps. Maya's eyes narrowed. These were moved after his access was revoked. Yes, I said. I was already out of the system. She looked up. Who still had access? I didn't answer. I didn't need to. She nodded slowly. I'll verify this. Mark called that night. Why aren't you answering? He demanded. I've been busy, I said. With what? Listening, I replied. He laughed. Don't get smart. Too late, I said. He hung up. Lena texted next. Please talk to me. I stared at the screen. You're making things worse, she sent. For who? I typed back, then deleted it. I didn't reply. Daniel called the next morning. They're shifting focus. On him? I asked. On both of them, he said. I closed my eyes. Good. That doesn't sound like relief, Daniel said. It isn't, I replied. I met Maya again 3 days later. Your evidence checks out, she said. We pulled independent records. And? I asked. And you're no longer the primary subject. I sat back. That was fast. She smiled slightly. Truth usually is. Mark showed up at my door that night. You did this, he said. I didn't invite him in. Did what? You turned them on me, he snapped. I didn't turn anyone, I said. I stayed quiet. He stepped closer. Fix this. Fix what? I asked. Your mess? His eyes flashed. I trusted you. I laughed once. That makes one of us. Lena called again. I finally answered. Why are you doing this? She asked. Doing what? I said. Letting this happen. I leaned against the wall. You let it happen first. She cried. I was scared. So was I said. Every night. Silence. You could still stop it, she whispered. I closed my eyes. No. Mark was arrested a week later. Daniel told me first. Financial fraud. Evidence tampering. I nodded. And Lena? They're questioning her, he said. Hard. I felt rage rise. Hot. Sharp. I want to scream, I said. Daniel paused. Then don't. I want them to hurt, I admitted. They will, he said. Just not how you imagine. Maya met me one last time. You were right to wait, she said. It hurt, I replied. She nodded. Control always does. That night, I sat alone in my apartment. I didn't feel happy. I felt steady. And for the first time, the system was working for me. Daniel didn't sound surprised when he called me. They're cracking, he said. I figured, I replied. Mark first, he added. Then Lena. I closed my eyes. How bad? Bad enough that they're blaming each other. He sent me the recordings an hour later. I sat on my couch and pressed play. Mark's voice came out sharp and frantic. You told him to sign. Lena's voice followed, shaking. You said it was safe. You moved the money, Mark snapped. Because you told me to, she cried. I told you to distract him, he said. Not get sloppy. I paused the audio. In my first life, I would have been shaking. Now, I felt cold. I pressed play again. If you hadn't pushed him to confess, Mark said, none of this would be happening. Lena sobbed. You said he was weak. He was, Mark replied. That's why this worked. I stopped the recording. Daniel texted me. You okay? I'm listening, I replied. 2 days later, Mark was arrested. I didn't see it in person. I watched it on the news. Former business partner detained, the reporter said. Facing multiple charges. Daniel called again. Public arrest. They wanted it visible. Good, I said. And Lena, he asked. I exhaled. She called me. She will, he said. She showed up that night. I opened the door and didn't step aside. Please, she said. Just 5 minutes. I nodded. 5. She walked in slowly, like the place didn't belong to her anymore. They're saying I knew everything, she said. That I planned it. Did you? I asked. She looked down. I was scared. So was I said. She stepped closer. You can help me. With what? I asked. With the investigators, she said. You can explain. Explain what? I asked. That I didn't mean it, she said. I laughed once. That's not a defense. Her voice broke. You loved me. I did, I said. I trusted you. She grabbed my arm. Say something. Yell at me. I gently pulled away. No. Why not? She cried. Because I already did, I said. In another life. She looked confused. What? I swallowed everything, I said. I confessed for you. Her face went pale. You're scaring me. You scared me first, I replied. She dropped to the couch. I didn't think you'd fight back. I didn't before, I said. She whispered, I didn't think you'd survive. I nodded. Neither did I. She looked up. Can you forgive me? I shook my head. No. She sobbed harder. Can you help me? I stepped back. No. Her shoulders collapsed. Then what do I do? I opened the door. You face it. She looked at me through tears. You're cruel. I met her eyes. I'm honest. She stood slowly and walked past me. At the door, she stopped. I ruined everything. I nodded. You chose it. After she left, I sat alone in the quiet. Daniel called later. You did the right thing. It doesn't feel good, I said. It rarely does, he replied. I looked at the empty room. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just breathed. And then I walked forward. The courtroom was smaller than I remembered. Take a breath, Daniel whispered beside me. I'm breathing, I said. Good, he replied. Now remember, you're not on trial. I nodded. I know. But my hand still shook as I stepped forward. State your name, the judge said. I cleared my throat. I'm the former business owner and primary witness. Mark sat at the defense table. He didn't look at me. Lena sat 2 rows behind him, pale and hollow. Daniel stood. Tell the court what happened. I looked straight ahead. I trusted them. Mark's lawyer jumped up. Objection. Overruled, the judge said. Continue. I trusted my partner to handle finances, I said. I trusted my girlfriend to tell me the truth. Lena lowered her head. Daniel asked, "What did that trust cost you?" "My freedom," I said. "My voice." Mark finally looked up. "What happened the day you were questioned?" Daniel asked. "They pressured me," I said. "They told me to confess." "Who did?" Daniel pressed. "Both of them," I replied. Mark's lawyer stood again. "Speculation." "I heard it," I said. "Directly." The judge nodded. "Proceed." Daniel played the recording. Mark's voice echoed. "He's weak. He'll confess." Gasps filled the room. Lena covered her mouth. Daniel paused it. "Did you make this recording?" "Yes," I said. "Why?" he asked. "Because I knew no one would believe me otherwise," I replied. Mark's lawyer sat down slowly. Daniel turned to the jury. This man was almost erased by lies. He faced me again. "How did it feel to speak up this time?" I swallowed. "Terrifying." "But?" Daniel asked. "But freeing," I said. The prosecutor stepped forward. No further questions. The judge looked at Mark. "Your defense?" Mark's lawyer stood. "We request a brief recess." Denied. Mark's lawyer tried anyway. "My client was under pressure." "So was the witness," the judge replied. The jury left. Silence filled the room. Lena whispered my name. I didn't turn. When the jury returned, it took less than 5 minutes. "Guilty," the foreman said. Mark closed his eyes. Lena started crying quietly. The judge spoke. "This court recognizes the harm done." I listened without shaking. Outside, Daniel placed a hand on my shoulder. "You did well," he said. "It felt quiet," I replied. He smiled. "That's justice." I walked down the steps alone. No cameras. No cheers. Just air. And my own voice, finally mine again. "Coffee?" the barista asked. "Yes," I said. "Black." She smiled. "Rough morning?" "No," I replied. "Quiet one." She handed me the cup. "Those are the best." I nodded and took a seat by the window. The street outside was busy, but it didn't pull at me anymore. I watched people pass without wondering who they were or what they wanted from me. My phone buzzed. "Daniel." "You settling in?" he asked when I answered. "I think so," I said. "No court. No calls." "That's the goal," he replied. "You earned it." "Did I?" I asked. "You survived without becoming them," he said. "That counts." I hung up and stared into my coffee. Months had passed. No interviews. No headlines. Just days that ended the way they began. Peaceful. A guard at the prison gate looked at my ID. "You sure about this?" he asked. "Yes," I said. He opened the gate. 10 minutes. The walls were the same. Tall. Gray. Quiet. Another guard walked me down the hall. "You used to be here?" "Yes," I replied. "Why come back?" he asked. "To leave properly," I said. He stopped near the empty cell. "This one?" I nodded. He stepped back. I stood there alone. I thought this place ended me, I said softly. No one answered. I blamed you, I continued. But it wasn't you. It was me. I closed my eyes. I gave them my voice. A memory surfaced. Just confess. I opened my eyes. Never again, I said. The guard cleared his throat. Time. I walked out lighter than I walked in. Outside, my phone buzzed again. A message from Lena. One line. I'm sorry. I read it once. Then I deleted it. That night, I sat on my balcony. A neighbor leaned over. You knew? Kind of, I said. He smiled. Welcome. Thanks, I replied. He went back inside. I stayed where I was. I thought about anger. I thought about revenge. They didn't live here anymore. Daniel's words echoed in my head. They needed your confession. I smiled. They needed my silence more, I said to myself. The world didn't end. It moved on. So did I. And that was enough. You don't have to come, Daniel said. I know, I replied. I want to. We sat in his car outside the courthouse. Different day. Different case. Same building. You're not involved anymore, he reminded me. I'm aware, I said. That's why I can breathe. He nodded. 5 minutes. Inside, I didn't sit in the front. I didn't need to. Mark stood in cuffs this time. No confidence. No smile. His lawyer whispered something. Mark shook his head. When he saw me, his eyes widened. You, he muttered. I didn't respond. The judge spoke. You had opportunities to stop. Mark laughed bitterly. He was supposed to fold. The judge frowned. That will be enough. As they led Mark away, he shouted, You ruined my life. I finally spoke. No. He stopped struggling. What? You did, I said. The doors closed behind him. Outside, Daniel exhaled. That chapter's done. For him, I said. For you too, Daniel replied. I shook my head. Almost. That night, my phone rang. Unknown number. Hello? I said. A shaky breath. It's me. Who? I asked. Lena. I waited. They sentenced him, she said. I know. Silence stretched. I lost my job, she whispered. I figured. They don't trust me, she said. I understand. She swallowed. I didn't think silence could be louder than lies. I leaned back in my chair. It is. She paused. Are you happy? I considered it. I'm steady. I deserved this, she said. Yes, I replied. She didn't cry. Goodbye, she said. Goodbye, I answered. When the call ended, I didn't feel relief. I felt distance. And that was better. Still no regrets? Daniel asked. Some, I said. Just not the ones I used to carry. We walked through the park. Late afternoon. Long shadows. You could have destroyed them faster, he said. I know. Why didn't you? He asked. I stopped walking. Because I didn't want to become loud. He smiled. That's an interesting answer. I watched a kid learn to ride a bike. Fall. Get back up. I spent one life begging to be heard, I said. I won't spend this one screaming. Daniel nodded. Then my job is done. Not yet, I said. You taught me something. What's that? He asked. That power isn't control, I said. It's restraint. He laughed quietly. You're going to be fine. Later that night, I opened a box I hadn't touched in months. Old papers. Old photos. Lena smiling. Mark standing beside me. I didn't burn them. I didn't tear them up. I put them back and closed the box. Some things don't need endings, I said to the room. They just need distance. I sat at my desk and wrote one sentence on a blank page. I choose silence when lies demand noise. I folded the paper and put it in my wallet. Outside, the city hummed. Inside, I was still. Rebirth didn't save me. Justice didn't save me. I saved myself the moment I stopped confessing to things that were never mine. And this time, I meant it. The letter arrived without warning. No return address. No name. Just my address written carefully, like the sender didn't want to make a mistake. I stared at it for a long time before opening it. I already knew who it was from. Inside was a single page. I think about that room every night. That was the first line. I sat down. I hear your voice in my head. Calm. Quiet. Different from how I remember you. I exhaled slowly. I used to think you were weak because you didn't fight back. Now I understand you were strong because you stopped. I folded the letter halfway, then unfolded it again. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't even expect a reply. I just needed you to know that the silence you chose followed me everywhere. I stopped reading. My phone buzzed. Daniel. You get it, he asked. Yes, I said. You don't owe anything, he added. I know, I replied. After the call, I finished the letter. This is my last message. I'm done asking for anything. Take care. No name. I placed the letter back in the envelope and set it on the table. I didn't tear it up. I didn't keep it either. I put it in a drawer and closed it. That night, I stood on my balcony again. Same view. Same city. Different man. A neighbor waved. Evening. Evening, I replied. You always look peaceful, he said. I smiled. I worked for it. He laughed and went inside. I stayed. I thought about the man I used to be. The one who believed love meant sacrifice. The one who believed silence meant guilt. The one who thought confessing would save everyone. I whispered, you deserved better. The wind carried the words away. The next morning, I woke up early. No alarms. No panic. I made coffee and sat at the table. For the first time, my thoughts didn't race. They lined up. I opened my laptop and began to write. Not a story. Not a confession. A plan. What I wanted. Who I would trust. What I would never give away again. Later that day, Daniel met me for lunch. You look settled, he said. I am, I replied. He leaned back. Most people chase closure. I stopped chasing, I said. It caught up on its own. He nodded. You learned something rare. What's that? I asked. That justice doesn't need witnesses when you're honest with yourself, he said. I smiled. You're still a lawyer. And you're still alive, he replied. We paid and walked out. At the corner, he stopped. This is where I leave you. Thank you, I said. For what? He asked. For not asking me to break myself to win, I replied. He smiled once. You never needed breaking. That evening, I visited the park again. Same bench. Same trees. I sat and watched the sun fall. A child ran past, laughing. I didn't envy him. I understood him. Freedom wasn't loud. It wasn't revenge. It wasn't even justice. It was waking up without fear. It was choosing when to speak. It was knowing silence could protect you better than any lie. I stood and walked home. Inside, the apartment felt like mine. Not borrowed. Not temporary. Mine. I opened the drawer once more. I took out the letter. Read it one last time. Then I folded it carefully and placed it in the trash. Not in anger. Not in pain. In closure. I washed my hands and looked at my reflection. Same face. Different eyes. I won't confess anymore, I said. The man in the mirror nodded. The world didn't applaud. Nothing dramatic happened. And that was the point. Rebirth didn't save me. Lawyers didn't save me. Justice didn't save me. I saved myself the moment I stayed silent when they needed me to break. And this time, there was nothing left to take from me.